Welcome back, guys. So today marks 25 days out from the show, which is Two Bros British Finals. Checked in this morning. Now I'm 25 days out. Check-ins are daily. When you're this far out from a show, we need to keep checking in just to make sure that any adjustments needed are done fast. This morning my weight was 234 pound on the dot. The weight limit for me is 230 pound. So I've got 4 pounds to play with, but this is going to be easy to come off. We're pretty much trying to hold weight, if anything. So for me, at my height, I'm literally about a millimetre over 6'1", and the weight limits and the height stands at anything up to 6 foot, I can be 220 pound. Anything up to 6'1", I can be 220 pounds. Anything over 6'1", I can be 230 pounds. So I need to make sure I am still a millimetre taller when I step on the scales and the height, because otherwise I'm going to be 10 pounds over the limit, and that's not going to be pretty, trying to get that off in about 12 hours. So yeah, so far 6'1", 234 pound, and yeah, with the limit being 230, that'll put me at 30 pounds heavier, we think, than last year. I don't know if I already touched on that, but that's a lot of gain in a year, in one season, to be fair. So we're really happy with how things are looking. We're going to head over to Ultraflex Durham today and train some legs. The session's going to be a little bit more in depth than it was in the last video. Legs is a strong point for me, so I'm just going to touch on a few things about how I like to feel when I'm training legs and how I sort of like to do them. And then this morning I've just got a lot of client check-ins to get through, so there's not going to be a great deal to see apart from me sat on my phone. That's not something you all want to see. After that, we've got a little bit of food shopping, and then got some meals later on to get in, and that's going to pretty much be the day, guys, so keep tuned.
Right, guys, so we've arrived at the gym. I like to get here about an hour before usually. I feel like I'm not the kind of guy that comes in and just makes a beeline straight for the machines. I can't do that, so usually about an hour before I'll sit down and have a pre-workout. I'll slowly go through my logbook, see what I've got to beat, and just settle in really, and then let my pre-workout kick in, get some music on, and I'll be good to go. Last time we were in, it was a little bit more of a montage of training. But today, because legs are my strong point and I've got a certain philosophy on leg training, which I feel like has brought on one over the years, we'll be a little bit more in depth today on the training side of things, where I'll just explain to you what I think makes good leg training from there, and if you want to put it into your own training, that's fantastic. For me today, there's 7 sets. When I train legs, I only do 7 working sets. With it being such a dominant body part for me, we need as little volume as possible with as much intensity as possible. This way, that my weight stabilises and my top line doesn't suffer. When I've been hitting 10 to 12 sets previously, I'd wake up the next day and my top line had suffered, and my legs will still be nice and full from being so dominant and a genetically strong body part. So it's really important for me at this stage, 25 days out today, that we really prioritise keeping the legs just nice and full and with plenty of detail in them, without sacrificing any muscle on the top line. Things you need when you train legs. You need some good hard bottom shoes, no sports shoes, no sponginess, so you don't lose power. If you're over 6 foot and you've got long legs, it's mandatory that you wear long socks. Ankle to calf ratio makes it look like you've got skinny legs, so at least if you get the tall socks on, it makes you look like your calf's out of shit. You also need some knee sleeves as well. Joking aside, even if you're a beginner, some single ply knee sleeves or something like this, because they just keep your knees warm. I've seen a lot of people going in, no knee sleeves, really hammering the heavy exercises, and once your knees are bad, it's something that you're going to really struggle to get rid of. And then number 4, which is the most important thing, is you need a set of bollocks.
And short shorts.
Oh yeah, short shorts, man. So just about to do the first working set now. On hamstrings especially, I think it's important, well on all leg groups, but for me hamstrings is that whilst I'm warming up, I'm really concentrating on getting the muscle lengthened as much as I can and as short as I can. Because when you go into the sets, it's common again that a lot of people are going to load the machine too much So when you're warming up, you can get it nice and lengthened and nice and shortened. But now when you're going to come into your main set, when it's more important to get the full load through that, then ranges of the muscle, you're not going to get it shortened as lengthened because the weight's too high. I ain't saying go lighter, but what I'm saying is just make sure that your warm-ups replicate your top set. So with the leg extensions, if your gym's lucky enough to have like a prime machine where you can change where the loading is, so it's not as much on your knees either at the top or the bottom, that's great. But for this session I use a Cybex leg extension and the loading's not going to be nowhere as heavy as what it possibly could be. And for me right now this is just for my knees really, just protect my knees. Make sure again that my quads are fully lengthened and fully shortened all the way through the range, but enough load on there for me to maybe hit 20 reps for the first set, a higher rep range, keeping everything nice and warm. And really it's just damage limitation on the knees at this point. That's all gear stuff done. Now so wants some proper
We start
stuff.
training now, yeah?
Start training now. That's all for the camera, that stuff.
Yeah.
I would normally reverse band this machine, so when I'm at the bottom it's going to save my knees. There's not as much tension and weight on my quad when it's in the fully lengthened range of my knee. My knee tendons are stretched, but because Bales runs the gym, he's very old school and he says that bands are for pussies. So I'll have a look around to see if there's any bands, but I'm not really hopeful to be honest. I ain't keen on this training on your own lark.
There's a boys.
Well, Giant was supposed to come, weren't he?
Yeah.
They binned me off. You can't do drive.
Shut out.
Yeah. He says you don't want to train legs for me anymore because I'm too strong or something. So hack squat now. For me on here I've only got one working set. Weight wise, weight on here for me is down a little bit. Intentionally though, because what was happening in the off season, especially when I was training with Cuba, we were pushing weight like quite a lot on this machine, and all it did really was give me patellar tendonitis and IT band syndrome down this leg. And I think that's where the disconnect in training legs comes. We see a lot of very strong guys training very heavy, and what people tend to forget is that this has taken years and years to get to this level of strength, but not just the level of strength in moving the weight, but being able to move the weight of the muscle properly. So I found what I was doing, even though my connection with my legs is very, very good in terms of mind muscle connection, if you like, as soon as I get up to around 9 plates, 10 plates on this, I was just moving weight for moving weight's sake, and this is where the injuries come. So now I've dropped it down to my working set. Today should be about 8 plates, and I'm hoping to get between 8 and 10 reps because I've got one set. I don't just want to hit a 5 rep range, a 6 rep range. I need to really tap into some muscle fibres. Ideally, I can go through fast twitch and slow twitch muscle fibres by hitting a 12 to a 15, but again, I feel like the loading wouldn't be sufficient at this point, keeping my legs fuller. So for me, I feel like one set, an 8 to 10 or even an 8 to 12 is going to be a perfect rep range for this.
Come on, supply it. Come on. Yes. And again. Come on. Yes. Come on. And again. Come on, let's go. Let's go. Come on. And again. Come on. Let's go. Come on. Let's dig deep now. Yes. And again. Let's go. Let's keep it going. Come on. Let's dig through it now. Up!
Oh,
and again, come on, let's finish it. Come on. Let's dig for it now, come on. Up!
Oh, one more.
Let's go.
Here we go.
This is it. Let's dig for it now. Come on. Let's go. Up! Up!
Oh, yeah. Is that 12?
You're doing a Cuban, I'm going to have to watch your back.
It was 12. It was 12.
Happy with that?
Yeah, it felt really good. The thing with this is, it's just sometimes when I get the pain down my right leg. So, without making any excuses, that felt quite nice actually today. So, definitely go up next time. 3.5 weeks out and out, we keep going. I like to train slow. For years and years and years, I was under the impression that the faster you can get through sets, the more your muscles were working and the more that you build muscle. So after 12 years of this not working, I decided to slow it down a little bit. But there is actually no correlation between time between sets and hypertrophy, so do not do, and you've heard this 100 times before, I know, but until you are ready to do the set, just don't do it. Especially when you're training on your own, it's difficult because I always have a training partner, and the last couple of sessions I've been on my own, and the temptation to feel like you're lazy because you just sat around and jumping in the set, your logbook, if you're logbooking, your lifts will suffer because you aren't ready to perform the set optimally. So what I like to do is imagine that I am training with somebody, so usually there'll be 3 of us training. So what I'd sort of do is I'd do my set, and then I'd calculate roughly the time what it'd do for somebody else to do the set, and then somebody else to do the set, and then I'd go. Otherwise, unless you're timing your rest, that's the other thing. Otherwise, you're always going faster because it's just our nature to try and get things done. But the slower you train, the stronger you are on the sets that you're doing. Your lifts are going to go up. So just don't rush things, guys. Don't rush things. doing this single leg, it's important that you shift your body weight and your bracing over to the leg that you're doing. Don't evenly distribute your weight because you're going to be disconnected from the leg that you're trying to train. So feel the position where you want and make sure that you're bracing hard on the side. I shuffle over, so basically my knee is almost in line with my shoulder, and this way I turn my foot out a little bit and I'm fully engaged with this leg. This leg's out of the way, I'm not thinking about it. As long as you're bracing this side, if I'm bracing all this way, then I'm losing this connection, the line through my leg. So get over the weight and really focus just on this one. Okay. The spotting leg come up there. Straight into work and set now. Come off the single hamstring curl. Just chatting to Jay about, again, the loading on the exercise. I could have gone a little bit heavier, but as I was talking about at the beginning of the session, for me personally, my legs are just far superior in a lot of ways to the rest of my body, and it's something we've really had to work on sort of toning down. The connection I get with my legs, my hamstrings in particular, is a feeling I can't really describe compared to the rest of my body. It feels almost like my muscle fibres and my muscle is working so hard, and I can almost place the load in the leg anywhere I want with any given kind of tension. So this is where I really find that me for building muscle in my legs is, I wouldn't like to say easy because there's still a lot of hard work involved, but it's definitely easier than the rest of my body. So being able to not hold back, but be intelligent about our approach on leg training, whereas we're just, at the minute, with my legs being in the position they are, we don't really want them to get any bigger. We can still get better legs without them getting bigger, so really just working the muscle and trying to get some deeper lines in there and just make them better aesthetically without just blowing them up really. And then again, this is why we'll move on to the adductor again last. I either start the session with this or finish the session with this. Jordan in the last couple of years especially has made this exercise quite popular among the masses in the gyms, but it wasn't until last year again that I started doing this, and my legs this year are a lot better. So when I'm stood from the front and from the back, there's no gap in between my legs anymore. So it's more aesthetically pleasing, and my physique has got less holes in it. And just finishing off with this as well, it gets a nice stretch, and it's just good for overall leg development. So if you don't do an adductor in your session, I feel like it's good to warm up with an adductor, or again just finish with adductor. So try that.
Oh, that's the worst one.
I'm cramping myself. Right, so legs has been wrapped up. We've got back, and now something a little bit different, because even though my days ran to clockwork, tomorrow on rest days when I normally come shopping, but my car keeps breaking down like every week. So it's back in the garage tomorrow, so I'm not going to be able to get to the shop. So I've just got a couple of bits to get now. In terms of shopping, something I will touch on is beginning of my off season last year. I was very anal about the foods I ate, and I still am in a sense, but I'd just go to butchers, I'd go to fishmongers, and I'd make sure everything I had was line caught, grass fed, organic, and I was so picky about the food I ate and the quality of the food. And ever since starting to shop in a supermarket without going into local shops and things like that, I've seen pretty much no change in quality whatsoever. So people give supermarkets a bit of a bad rap in terms of food quality, but they've got a butchers, they've got a fishmongers, everything now is quality controlled, and everything, you get things here which are organic, again line caught if you can get it, grass fed and all that malarkey. So, and it's like 10% cheaper. So in off season, when you're spending a ton on food, it's good to go to independent shops and things to try and help them out, but don't be shy about just getting oil food from supermarkets, because I remember at the beginning of last year there was all this stuff about meat in supermarkets is crap and stuff, but honestly I haven't seen a difference, so this is where I shop now.
Man needs a trolley.
Out carrying a basket.
Jimmy the scavenger.
This is serious stuff, mate. Can't miss about bad meat. But my pre-workout meal's changed now to cod and rice from ground rice. It was making me feel sick just thinking about eating it. I think I've had ground rice twice a week for the last 18, twice a day, sorry, for the last 18 months. Yeah, I'm done with that now. So I'm looking forward to it. Josh the Viking, Maley, told me a little bit of ginger in the morning is good for the immune system. He says since he's been having it, he hasn't really been sick. So, tip of the day. Can I just get that fillet steak at the back? Back on the scavenge. To be honest with you, I actually do normally buy my fillet steak as a full fillet. Just when you're buying it from here. On my rest day, I have 600 grams of fillet steak, so my rest day steak on its own is going to cost me 20 quid just for my steak. 3 days a week.
We'll make a dent there. There's a lot of shopping here, bro.
Yeah, well, just today's leg day, my steps are supposed to be kept as low as possible because of like energy balance and stuff. So because I'm on prep, me carrying that bag to my car may just slightly tip my energy balance too far.
Who's the top line?
Yeah, just losing this top line so fast. So as long as I'm doing this, I'm alright. If I want to carry it to the car, who knows what happens.
I'm hoping it's through MasterChef. It would be a great opportunity. The special sauce I was telling you about, yeah, it's my special Christmas tree peach. To be a chef. I love organics. I've got my own veggie garden. I've got a 5-acre.
This used to be 13 twists of pink salt, but since I was training with Jamie, he can't deal with 13 being an unlucky number, and it's rubbed off on me. So I used to do 10 twists, stir it, and 3. So now I got to do 10 twists, stir it, and 4. The bastard. Yeah, so meal 5 going down. This meal is just plain old chicken and rice. At the minute, I don't have a lot of veg in my diet whatsoever, basically just for digestion. So fruit and veg, just whatever fruit I eat, whatever veg I eat, it just seems to really upset my digestion at the minute, and I think that's just from a prolonged off season, and my digestion's slowly getting better, especially as I get leaner. This time of night for me is I'll have this meal, and then when I wake up in the morning is when I do my client check-ins, and I also do them now. So any clients that's got back to me in the day while I've been training, sending me videos over for form and stuff like that, is when I tend to get back to them. So I have this meal, and I'll generally have usually a couple of hours just to chill out, get back to clients, and pretty much my time's spent speaking to them from this minute on, to be honest with you. I'm in this little back room because now I'm 3.5 weeks out. I'm an unsociable bastard, excuse my language, and there's other people in the house and I just don't want to be around people. But I'm joking, no. It's just a place where I can come in and just get some work done and chill out and
watch MasterChef.
Much to Jay's disgust, who's on a lot less food than me and probably starving. I do like a cooking programme.
Nah.
I do love watching a cooking programme. And I always thought, I only watch them when I'm dieting. And I always thought it was because I was hungry, so I want to watch food. But I haven't been hungry at this prep, and I've watched all MasterChefs, and now I'm on to MasterChef Australia, so we're getting deep into it.
Taking over the world.
Yeah. But if I ever tried cooking, I should be pretty good. It looks pretty easy, but we'll have to see. For now, it's just chicken and rice. I want that seat right at the top. This way you can get your elbows low. Your elbows are coming up too high, so it's engaging too much trap. Same again with a single arm row. So from there, you just want to drive your elbows as low as you can into your hip. So we'll try that again next week. Tempo and everything's fine, mate, but we just need to get this a little bit better now. So last meal going in is 70 grams of isolate and 30 grams of almond butter. Nice easy meal. This digests really well, so I don't have to wait too long to go to bed. I'll probably just go to bed half an hour after this, get a shower, and I'll be asleep straight away. Usually before I go to bed, I haven't mentioned yet, I don't think, is on the Train by JP website. I've got a log on here, and every single day I fill out a log, so any information that's not come across here today or in any of the videos we're going to do, all my diet, all my supplementation, all my training is logged on the site daily. And there's a few decent videos and some good content on there, so you can get on there and check out anything, ask me any questions you want as well. If you don't ask me in the comment section below, you can go on there and ask me and I'll always answer. But yeah, that's going to be the last meal in. I've had my health soaps and everything else. In terms of sleep, going to sleep quite close to a meal for me is not an issue. One of my only talents is sleeping. If I'm in the same place long enough, I can go to sleep. So, and that's anywhere. So that's never an issue for me. If you do struggle to digest your last meal, or it's a little bit bigger, I would suggest maybe having it a little bit further away from bedtime, because having a larger meal before you go to sleep, it does impact your sleep. And obviously sleep's massive on recovery. But apart from that, that's the full day done. Obviously we missed a couple of meals at the beginning with a couple of errands to run. But if you like the video, like it, subscribe to the channel, and anything you want to see, put in the comment section below, and we'll get it done for you.